The land of Canaan trembled under the weight of giants. It was the era of conquest, of mighty warriors who sought to carve their names into history. Among them stood one of the greatest warriors of Philistia, Goliath of Gath, the Titan of war. Towering over men like an iron fortress, Goliath was more than a warrior. He was a living legend, 9 feet of brutal muscle, his flesh like stone, his voice like a lion's roar. No blade had ever pierced his skin. No army had ever dared to challenge him in single combat. He had once been the champion of the Philistine warlord Achish, leading devastating raids against Israel and its allies. His spear, thick as a weaver's beam, had shattered shields and sundered flesh. He had laughed as kings trembled before him, and his name was whispered in fear. But though Goliath had once been the terror of Israel, he had known bitter defeat. David, the boy shepherd, had slain him with a single stone. The impossible humiliation burned in Goliath's mind like an unquenchable fire. He had been resurrected by the dark sorcery of Philistine priests. His body reforged with the essence of fallen giants. His strength doubled, his rage unchecked. Yet despite this, his defeat at David's hands remained a wound in his soul that no battlefield conquest could heal. He sought vengeance, but not against David. The shepherd king had long since passed into the afterlife. Goliath's fury needed a new target, a warrior whose name echoed through the annals of time, a hero worthy of facing the wrath of the Titan of Gath. And there was only one name that could satisfy such hunger for war: Hercules. Far to the west, across the endless blue of the Aegean Sea, the land of Greece basked in the glory of its golden age. From the marble columns of Olympus to the war-torn fields of Thebes, stories of one name inspired both reverence and awe: Hercules, son of Zeus, known to the Romans as Hercules, the greatest champion of Olympus, the slayer of monsters, the breaker of kings. Having completed his 12 labors, Hercules had wandered the earth seeking new challenges. He had defeated Achilles, the mighty river god. He had wrestled Cerberus from the underworld. He had slain the Nemean lion and conquered the Hydra. But no glory was ever enough. His soul, like a lion's, craved battle. It was then that the call came, a voice echoing from the winds of the east. The voice of a titan reborn. "Hercules, I call you to war. Come if you dare." The heavens rumbled at Goliath's challenge. A storm brewed over the Aegean. Hercules, seated on a rocky shore, lifted his gaze to the sky and smiled. A mighty voice, he mused, his fingers tightening around his war club. But is the warrior mighty as well? With that, he stood and made for his ship. His heart pounded with the thrill of the coming battle. It had been too long since he had faced a true titan. The journey was swift. The sea carried the son of Zeus across the waters, guided by unseen hands. When Hercules set foot on the shores of Philistia, he found the land ablaze with the signs of war. Smoke curled in the air, and the scent of blood and iron filled his nostrils. Goliath waited for him in the valley of Elah, the same place where he had once fallen to David's sling. But now the land bore his mark. Spears of conquered warriors were impaled into the earth. The bones of fallen champions littered the field. The wind howled, as if mourning the countless lives that had ended in that valley. And there, at the center of it all, stood Goliath, clad in blackened iron. His colossal frame dwarfed even the tallest of warriors. His eyes burned with the fury of the resurrected. His great spear, a monstrous weapon taller than most men, was planted into the ground beside him. As Hercules approached, Goliath smirked, his massive arms crossing over his armored chest. "So the son of Zeus answers my call." His voice was like rolling thunder. "Good. I was beginning to think the legends were lies." Hercules grinned, rolling his shoulders. "I could say the same of you, Titan. I heard you fell to a mere boy with a stone. Should I be worried?" A deep growl rumbled from Goliath's throat. He grasped his spear, lifting it as if it weighed nothing. "I have been reforged in the fires of vengeance. Greek, you will find no shepherd boy tricks here. Only war Hercules slammed his club against the earth, cracking the ground beneath him. Then let's see if the Titan of Gath can truly match the son of Zeus. The sky darkened, the earth trembled. The gods themselves turned their gaze upon the battlefield. The clash of titans was about to begin.
Are you just watching?
Subscribe, please.
A hush fell over the valley of Elah. The winds howled between the jagged rocks, carrying the whispers of gods and mortals alike. The sky, darkened with storm clouds, crackled with Zeus's watchful energy. The land itself seemed to recoil, as if knowing that it was about to bear witness to a battle unlike any it had seen before. Hercules and Goliath stood mere paces apart. One the son of Zeus, the greatest champion of Olympus. The other, the Titan of Gath, reborn in vengeance and forged in war. Goliath's lips curled into a sneer. "I will crush your bones, Greek." Hercules only grinned, twirling his club in one hand. "Then come, Titan, prove yourself." The battle erupted with the force of a storm. Goliath moved first, a blur of blackened iron and monstrous strength. His great spear cut through the air with the weight of 1,000 battles. It whistled as it came down, aimed straight for Hercules' skull. But the son of Zeus was faster. With the reflexes of a lion, he dodged, pivoting on his heel as the spear carved deep into the earth. Splitting stone like butter, Hercules surged forward, his war club swinging in an arc meant to shatter bone. Crack! The club smashed against Goliath's shield, sending a tremor through the giant's arm. The force alone would have sent any normal man flying, but Goliath merely grunted, his muscles absorbing the impact. With a roar, he retaliated. He yanked his spear free from the ground and thrust forward like a battering ram. Hercules caught the shaft between his hands, stopping it mere inches from his chest. The two warriors locked eyes, muscles bulging, the spear trembling. Between them, as divine strength clashed against the might of the Titan. Then with a burst of power, Goliath swung his massive shield like a wrecking ball. Boom! The shield slammed into Hercules' side, sending the son of Zeus skidding backward, his feet carving trenches into the dirt. He planted himself firm, wiping blood from his lip. His grin widened. Not bad. Goliath rolled his shoulders. I have only begun. The battlefield trembled as Goliath went on the offensive. He moved with terrifying speed for a warrior of his size, his spear thrusting and sweeping like a viper's strike. Each blow was meant to impale, to skewer, to end the fight with a single decisive stroke. Hercules dodged, weaving between the attacks with the grace of a panther. But even he could not evade them all. A spear tip grazed his shoulder, tearing flesh. A second strike nicked his thigh. A third slammed into his club, nearly wrenching it from his grasp. Hercules growled in frustration. Goliath wasn't just a brute. He was a warrior, seasoned by war, precise in his strikes. This was no mindless beast. This was a champion reborn in fury. Realizing that Goliath had reach advantage, Hercules changed tactics. He rushed in, closing the gap between them before the spear could strike again. His club swung low, straight into Goliath's knee. Crack! The Titan bellowed as the force of the blow buckled his leg. Hercules pressed the attack, ramming his shoulder into Goliath's chest. The impact was like a boulder slamming into a mountain. But Hercules had the momentum. Goliath stumbled backward, struggling to regain his footing. Seizing the moment, Hercules lunged, his club raised for a devastating strike to the head. But Goliath was not so easily undone. With a snarl, he dropped his spear and met Hercules head-on. His massive fist, clad in iron, smashed into Hercules' ribs with the force of a catapult. Boom! The demigod was lifted off his feet and sent flying across the battlefield. He crashed into a jagged rock formation, shattering it into dust. For the first time in ages, Hercules groaned in pain. His ribs ached, his vision blurred. Goliath's strength was monstrous, his power unnatural. But pain was nothing to the son of Zeus. He was forged in suffering, born in struggle, and he would not fall. Hercules rose, shaking dust from his hair. His blood boiled with divine rage. He charged, not with hesitation, but with the fury of a god. Goliath braced himself, raising his shield. Too late. Hercules leaped. Higher than any mortal could, his war club raised above his head. The very air crackled with the force of his strength. And then, boom! The club came down like the hammer of Olympus. It crashed into Goliath's shield, not breaking it, but shattering it into 1,000 fragments. The force sent a shockwave through the valley, toppling nearby rocks. Goliath staggered, his arm numb from the impact. Hercules did not stop. With a roar that shook the heavens, he swung again. This time he aimed for Goliath's skull. The club connected. Crack! The Titan of Gath's head snapped back. His entire massive frame swayed unsteady. His knees buckled. His vision blurred. The strength left his limbs. And then, like a mountain collapsing, Goliath fell. The valley shook as the giant crashed to the earth. His enormous form sprawled motionless in the dust. Hercules stood over him, breathing heavily, his muscles still tensed for battle. But it was over. Goliath lay still. The Titan had been defeated. Hercules was victorious.